worries. Welcome everyone to Well That's Horrific, a podcast about anything and everything horror. I am your co-host, Mr. S.
And I'm Tom Cruise.
And for those of you who have been with us, and for those of you who have just tuned in, we are just close friends who share a love for horror, and we have reactions, insights, predictions, questions, all of the above, and we would just like to share with everybody, as well as share your thoughts, here as well. Um, I hope everyone had a great weekend. It should be a Monday when you're listening to this, and hopefully everybody has finished Volume 1 of Stranger Things, because Tom Cruise and I are going to kind of, I want to say review, but also just honestly just lay it all out there. Whatever our thoughts are, predictions, dive in, just take it all. Everything's fresh in our heads, so we kind of just leave it down. I also have some notes here.
Come on. Show off your notebook. You want to
see my notebook?
I was gonna
Here's
cut.
my notebook.
You know how I gotta shout you out. Look at this notebook.
Bam! Look at this. The Dark Arts Defense, basic for beginners. If you're a Harry Potter fan, gotta add Harry Potter World. Not Harry Potter World, Harry Potter Store. I'm sorry, but yes. So Stranger Things Volume 1. As always, I'd like to give it over to my co-host and kind of let him start first. So go ahead, Tom Cruise.
Well, there's a bit to unpack here. If we want to pick up right where we left off in the last episode, we spoke about the first 4 episodes. Last episode we spoke about the very intense ending of episode 4, where it seemingly looked like Max was potentially going to die. She was floating up into the air, some music playing. I was excited to talk about this. As the listeners may have known, I had seen the episodes a little bit before you, so it might be a little bit fresh on your mind. But I was trying to hold back. There's a lot that happens in episodes 5, 6, and 7. And then, a lot of your theories are kind of looking like they might be accurate.
Yeah, I know, just a little bit.
So I was so mad when I'm watching this, and I'm like, damn, bro, how the hell did he guess this? Like, there's no way. I'm like, I really thought you had you read a leak or something. I was like,
I promise you, not a single. I hate reading other people's stuff. Like, I do it after the fact when everything's all said and done. But beforehand, I don't want anything to bother me. I want to watch it very, clear as it is. So
I know. I mean, I do the same thing. I don't like read reviews. I don't look anything up.
Yeah.
And then I'm watching this, and what is it the ending of episode 6? That has that very intense scene, and then it continues right in episode 7. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. But we can get there, but I'm like, wow, this is really looking like you were right on this. Like,
right. Well, but before we start any further, you reminded me. I'm sorry. Spoilers. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. Come back. If you haven't, then don't watch it. I don't know what to tell you. You live on a rock or something? What the hell's wrong with you? No, but go ahead. Continue from here.
Yes. So we have. Let's start off with the episode, right? So this is the Nina Project, right?
The Nina Project, yeah, the Nina Project. So essentially, the Nina Project is what Papa is using to get Elle's powers back, and he's doing it in a way like he's putting her in this like tank of water with monitors on top of the screen that kind of tells Elle
how did he feel about the hair? They cut off her hair, they brought her back to her roots.
I like that. Because we're going back, right? We're showing the story of.
At first, I thought it was only in the project. I wasn't aware that it was in like the actual world. I thought it was like while she's in the project, the way she's seeing it, since she's basically supposed to be her younger self. I thought it was just projecting that, and then I realized no, it's actually her.
Yeah, and then I thought, like, did she actually cut her hair? I think she actually did.
Did she cut it?
Yeah, I think she actually did, if I'm not mistaken. I saw some behind the scenes pictures after the fact. I'm like, I think she did.
I wouldn't be surprised if you're asking about Millie Bobby Brown. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. All right, the Nina Project. Honestly, it's a lot about 11 and trying to get her powers back, and it starts off in a funny way, like a repetitive way, with this guy, this guard who works there, who's asking her the same question. Someone's a sleepy bird or so, whatever the hell he says to her.
Yeah, he keeps on. She tries to escape it, but she ends up right back in the same room with the same question. Someone's a sleepy bird, and then the pattern just keeps on repeating itself, and she's trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
Right. Then so we you know how Stranger Things does it. It cuts from one story to another story to another story. But the whole episode is mostly about Elle
There's a
and
lot of
getting her
backstory in this particular episode.
a lot. Oh, see, that's the thing that I don't think we've seen in other seasons of Stranger Things. I didn't think that they were so creative. I didn't think that in the sense of like
This definitely has the most exposition as far as seasons in general. I don't think
in general.
I don't
Right.
think any other season went into this much detail.
Right. Right.
I guess maybe they didn't have as much to explain because it was just like monsters. They had like kind of explain how the gates were open and stuff like that. But in this particular case,
Right.
there's a lot to unpack. So they
Right.
really took advantage of that. And I think in terms of like how they explain everything, definitely a home run in my opinion.
Oh my God! It's like I use this word with you, and I don't think you
It's a strong word, man.
I think I said, yo, it's a masterpiece. I was referring mostly for episode 7. I still can't get episode 7 out of my head, but yeah, it's a masterpiece on how they put things together. It really is, and just again, like chapter 6 is like about her powers, like I mentioned before, but like this ambiguity, right? We don't know what's going on in terms of Sam and Papa. By the way, I don't care what you tell me. I don't care if this guy ends up being the savior of the world. I don't like him.
He's still a bagger, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like him. I think he's up
a
to
redeemable
no
character. Yeah.
No, not a chance. And I don't think he's a good character at all. So whatever he's trying to do. So
at the end of the day, what he was doing wasn't right anyways, but they're kind of trying to redeem him by him trying to bring her powers back. Now, there's a couple questions you can ask there, whether or not we can get there when we get there, but whether or not what does he know really behind all of this?
Right.
But what else is going on in this time? We have the
California.
house call or the California.
The California crew kind of essentially escaping, finding out that one of the guards protecting them gave him a pen, and when they call it, it's like some weird computerized sounds, and they go travel to Utah to find Dustin's girlfriend so she can help
the only
them.
hacker that they know. But I mean, that's actually is it this episode where there's a really intense action sequence in the house, or is that the previous episode? Did we miss that?
I believe
so. When they escape the house, remember, so they're already planning on leaving. However, at this time, I think it's the military that comes and starts attacking them.
Nah, it's episode 4. It's episode 4. I think that they started shooting the house. They tried to plan an escape and they tried to order pizza.
Yeah.
And then they come, they start shooting. Yo, I don't understand.
That was a pretty intense action sequence. For Stranger Things, we've never seen that before.
Yeah, I've never seen something like that. I've never seen a guy also go and kill so many people like that. That was not a big character.
That was like a fucking John Wick sequence right there, real quick. They give us a little short John Wick sequence. And the guy gets shot.
Yeah. And you know what I don't like?
Do
you know what I don't like about this? I don't like the fact that we have this guy killing all these people, right? And he's not even a main character. Forget that. I also don't like the fact that what you call it? Hold up. The military, the U.S. military. I don't like the fact that in seasons 2 and 3, especially 3, they called for them to help them for the mall against the Mind Flayer, and they are nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. And now you're coming in after looking for 11 like that, like you're like straight on, no questions asked shooting. Well, like what? Like, are you? That's insane.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, even not taking that into account, my least favorite storyline is honestly the California storyline. I don't think there's much like it just seems like they're just trying to introduce all these characters. They do have fun with the foster house with all the kids. You meet the little annoying kid that shuts down the lights. The one of the sisters who the pothead falls in love with immediately.
Right.
The first time you see Susie, she's on the roof fixing the antenna.
The thing is, every story here. Oh, that's actually something I wanted to get at you. I wanted to actually clap back at you for a little bit. You mentioned last episode that they should have divided the episodes because it was too long, and I'm sitting here watching these episodes, and even episode 7, it's like 1 hour and 40 minutes. I'm just like, damn, that is not long enough. You know what I'm saying? So that to me shows that every storyline is high stakes. every storyline is high stakes. It's great. It's working. Even the California one, I'll give it to you. It's a little bit. There's something there. Like, there's something there going on with Will and his painting, and like, I still don't know what it is. Like, but there's something there. Mike, I don't know if he's gonna get there before U.S. military, to the lab, like to find L. I don't know what's going on there, but it's not.
I
as
also
big.
don't like that they like spoiler. I mean, I guess we're talking about it, but even if you fast forward all the way to episode 7, we never get a follow up to what happens in California. They basically the last time we
True.
see them is this, right? Is
True.
maybe the next episode.
But no, that's pretty much it.
She hacks the mainframe or the phone number for them, whatever. She finds a location and she prints
Nevada,
out
yeah.
she prints out the location for them or the coordinates.
Right.
And that's it, right? That's the last time we see them.
That's
And then like
the last
2
time.
episodes pass. It feels like forever passed, and we know we don't get a follow up. We don't know
Yeah.
last time we saw them they were there.
There has to be a reason for that, but we'll see. We'll see. But another storyline that's happening obviously is what you call it, the
I like the main storyline.
murder of what you call it, that guy Patrick. Vecna kills Patrick. So essentially the basketball
the lake?
crew. Yeah. So the basketball crew has finally found Eddie, and Eddie tries to escape on this little boat on the lake, and then
So,
the main guy. Yeah.
How is it that they find them? So they discover somebody mentions the guy who sells drugs.
Yeah.
His house.
So they're at the funeral, I believe. Right? Was it a funeral that they were at, if I'm not mistaken? Yeah, they were at a funeral, and then they mentioned the house that someone. Oh no! Remember those 2 guys in the lake? They saw Eddie, and then like there was 2 guys. They were fishing. I don't know if you saw. It was very brief, very brief moment, and they saw him. So I guess that was like the spotting when the guy said someone spotted him at what's the guy's name? Ricky something or something.
Yeah.
I forgot. But so
Yeah,
that's,
I'm not sure.
That was that setup. Yeah.
Yeah, they show up there. They're looking for him. They can't find him. He escapes, so he's hiding in a shed. And then when they finally go to check the shed, the guy comes out and sees him in the middle of the lake.
Right.
So he swims in after him with the other basketball player, and we already had been teased that he was having those dream sequences with Vecna. He had seen the clock already. And then this happens to be the exact moment that the final vision is happening, and Vecna pulls him up in the middle of the water, does his thing, snaps all his bones, gouges out his eyes, and what's his name? The Chrissy's boyfriend.
Is it Jake?
I
want to say
could
Jake.
care less about this character. This is the Mob Rules character. This is the guy who stirs up the entire town. So he witnesses it, and of course, now he's religious. Now he blames Eddie for everything. He thinks Eddie is, worshiping the devil.
Right.
But meanwhile, in the main storyline, they go to visit Victor Creel's house.
Right.
And
so
you later find out that this exact moment is when they're seeing some sort of lights or movement in the house. Correct?
Right.
There's something that they connect to.
So the crew on top of Tom Cruise's head, the main crew or the main plot of this whole season so far, they go to Victor Creel's house to examine it, and they're looking for clues. They spread out in 2s, and then they all turn off their flashlights, but Steve kind of leads them up to the attic. They notice that the light is kind of working on itself. It takes them to the attic. They're all in a little bit of a circle, and as the killing is happening in parallel what's happening also at the house is everyone's light is kind of flashing and then breaking, right? Essentially kind of, implying that Vecna is here, and this is how he's taking his victim at the current time.
Yeah, that's how they make the connection of the house, because Max remembers the door frame.
Yes, and draws all the stuff. Yeah. You guys know this. You guys seen that too. So that's interesting. I never had such a photographic, memory like that, but that's interesting. One thing I wanted to point out: why did Vecna kill Patrick? Why? Is it just to kill a random person? Everybody had something that was haunting them. What was haunting Patrick?
Yeah, we don't know if there was anything in particular haunting Patrick. I don't
Yeah.
think
So
they showed anything in particular. I don't know if they plan to.
yeah, they should
Um,
have done something with that a little bit more.
but I
But
guess the bigger motive is apparently he's been opening these paths, right? He's been opening these gateways to Hawkins, which you find out
yeah,
later on. And I
yeah,
don't know if
yeah,
it's either episode 6 or episode 7.
yeah.
You find out that he's been opening these gates to Hawkins every time he murders somebody.
If you are listening and if you've seen Volume 1, you know what we're talking about without even having to say a word. If you are for some reason staying and just trying to listen to us, it's kind of hard to put into words exactly
Yeah,
what's
I would
happening.
definitely just recommend watching it.
Yeah, watch it. There's so much going on. Like, we're not going to deep, scene by scene type thing. We're just kind of refreshing it, and then we kind of let it out because I really want to talk about the end of this whole volume and what to expect moving forward.
Yep.
But essentially, they go to the house, figure out Vecna's house. He stays there. He takes people, yada yada. Then we have what you call it, chapter 6, which is called the dive.
Is it the dive curse?
The dive curse. Right? So this is fact check. This is where we see the last piece of the California crew right here. I guess it's just the Nina project. We didn't see him as much anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We see him bury the guy, and then he tries to write it with the pen. I guess Mike figures it out, like the numbers on the pen. Cool. Chapter 6 is the dive. So Dustin is a genius. I like Dustin's character a lot. Very,
He's always been the mastermind behind.
Yeah, he's
everything.
a comic relief. He's
not only the comic relief. He's the one that like knows how everything works. Like he figures everything out.
Right. He's into it a lot. Essentially, he figures out that with the compass is going all haywire while they're trying to go to Skull Rock to find Eddie, because Eddie now has to leave the scene because there's another death that happened with Patrick. His name is now in the news. He's trying to run away. When they go in there, Dustin's compass is going all crazy. The last time that happened was in season 1, if I'm not mistaken, with Elle by the lab. There's a whole, powerful magnetic field. They figure out there's a gate in the lake. Cool.
They try to go towards the lake, yeah.
Heading towards the lake, right?
But
right.
They divide them this time. An interesting divide. All the teenagers / adults go, and they leave Lucas, Max, and Dustin.
Which is interesting because Steve is not babysitting anymore. And Steve is the first one to go into the lake and test it out himself, which gave me a little bit of a heart attack there. But whatever, that's fine. That's cool.
Let's get there. There's a lot of things going on in this episode. So before we get there, this is also the episode where the basketball player, his name is Jason. So Jason and the other basketball players show up at the little conference / meeting that the cops are having, and he basically riles everybody up and blames it on the Hellfire Club, which is Dustin's D&D group with Eddie and Lucas.
Can I pause you for a little bit because of what you just said? My man saw the kill happen. He saw the dude float, his body parts snatching. He saw that Eddie had nothing to do with it, right? And instead of saying, yo, I believe what these dudes are saying, something's wrong, it wasn't him, he didn't kill him. He's saying that he is the devil's son. Come on, man.
He's the only way he could justify it, and nothing else makes sense.
Find him, but then the people that believe in him. That's a little crazy.
And then now all the parents gather up because the rest of the town is now looking for Dustin, Lucas, and Eddie and Max.
Right, right.
So all the parents now have to kind of team up and figure out what's going on,
which is great. I liked it because I like to see more of the parents involved. Like this is the first time I've seen Lewis's dad. Like I didn't even you don't know that he had a dad and stuff like that. So
and then Erica stands up for the Hellfire Club,
mm-hmm.
Which is interesting because she does come into play later.
Right.
And then we get back to the Susie's
lake.
House.
Oh, Susie's house. Yeah, that's where the whole hacking happens. They, find Susie. She,
they do this little trap to get the father out of the room because he took the computer from her.
Right. And then she gives him the location and all that stuff. Yeah, no, it's interesting. I thought it was funny. I thought it was, very funny. Listen, I'm not trying to downplay any storyline. I'm telling you, I'm very hooked on this season. Honestly, I'm thinking this is one of the best seasons.
I think you can agree that the California storyline is the least interesting out of the bunch.
Yeah, for two reasons. Number one, I'm not too happy with Jonathan's character. I've said this to you.
They
And
made
like,
him a nobody this season.
yeah, and number two, um, it's just not a lot. Like it's just not a lot. Like I get like
You
that
don't
whole
think it's
Will
happening?
thing. Yeah, Will's thing. I think they're trying with it. I don't know if that means I'm just predicting something here. I don't know if that means that he's gonna die and then Mike's gonna see the painting or like you know what I'm saying. Something is definitely there. I definitely know it's some type of emotional feeling. Again, I'm here to analyze. I'm not here to put anyone in a weird spot, but I'm thinking he's gay. That's just me. Again, that has nothing to do with anything.
I, I
That's what I'm
I
thinking.
thought that early on, and then I didn't see it going anywhere, so I kind of gave up on the theory. But I
Yeah,
had that theory early on. I just didn't
yeah,
know if it was sure or not. There's not enough evidence, in my opinion.
right.
And then we got the
Oh,
scene that you mentioned with in Skull Rock and everything.
right,
They divide. Steve goes under the water
right.
to test everything out. He comes up. He confirms there's a gate. But then one of Vecna's, like, what do you call them? Tentacles? What do you call these things?
Vines. I mean, yeah. I
Vines?
mean, yeah, vines. I'll call him a vine. Yeah,
Yeah, one of the vines grabs him and starts pulling him down.
right.
And Nancy, just by instinct, dives in right
There
after him.
is some. They are.
We,
Listen.
I feel like it's obvious what they're doing here. So like, this is not a complaint, but it's pretty obvious what they're doing here. But
No, I'm not. You know, because I'm now that I'm hearing myself, it kind of seems like I'm hating. I love this season. I love
yeah,
everything that they are doing. Every single. I'm hooked. I'm
but
hooked.
isn't it obvious what they're doing with Steve and Nancy?
It's if you had like if you were blind, you would have seen what what they're doing. Like
Yeah.
they are trying so hard to do this, and that scares me because that to me means that someone's
Steve,
going bye bye.
yeah, yeah. You already know. So like, at this point, this is where like it's predictable. So the moment that Steve goes to the other side and all the creatures start attacking him, I'm like, oh shit, is he gonna die? Like I'm here really thinking like, fuck, like you were right. Like damn, I don't know how you called it. They all dive in behind him. Really, Nancy dives in behind Steve, Robin behind Nancy, and then Eddie didn't want to be left alone. He literally
Right.
tells Steve later that he's like, I just, didn't want to be the last one.
Yeah. More on that
So
later, but yeah.
yeah, they all end up saving him, but he's hurt. He's hurt pretty bad.
There's fucking bat things. What like those? What do you call those? Batagorgons? Like what do you call
I don't
those?
know, but is that the end of the episode or not? I don't remember if that's the
Yes.
very
So
end.
that is the end of the episode of the dive. That is the end of the episode of the dive, and then the next
But
chapter.
there's a couple things that happen that we missed. So they're also they captured one of the guys from the house, or who has been being tortured this entire time by the government.
Yeah,
Um,
it's very, very like little screen time with that, but like
yeah,
essentially the dude that got shot answering the door is being tortured by the what you call it the leader. What is he like? I still don't know. The president of the military, is that what he is?
I don't know.
I could have sworn I heard president something president.
And then there's more on 11. They're showing more of her trials.
Right. Yeah.
He's kind of fast forwarding a little bit more
Right.
into
She I just want to point
into
out. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, it's like into more of what would you call them? The lessons, the what would you call them? That he's like, you stand here, and then he's trying to get them to use their powers against each
These
other and stuff.
these yeah lessons stages whatever you want to call them. You know, it's actually funny that you say that because I wrote something down about that. That I'm gonna mention a little bit because like I said, chapter 7 is what like blew me away. But another thing that we didn't really kind of mention is that 11 gets up at one point where she couldn't take it and kind of hits Papa and tries to run away. And for a brief moment, you thought she had her powers back, but she actually didn't because there's a lot more that she has to know. And at the same time, while all this is happening, Sam Owens is saying to Papa, is like, we should tell her the truth. And like, he's like, yeah, just a matter of time. And, I give me like some time, all that stuff. So there's definitely something there that Elle doesn't know, and as well as we don't know,
Yeah, but that's where my question lies. Is like, what does he know? And that's in regards to like the finale, of course, the big reveal at the end.
Right.
But what else did we get this particular episode? I think there's some more on Hopper. I'm not sure exactly what's going on there. Last time we saw them there, captured.
Hopper is in the what you call it, the prison cell with Enzo or whatever you want to call him, that Russian guard, the corrupt one.
And they feed him a meal, feed him a big meal.
Feed him a meal, and they all know why, because they all think that because they're trying to get stronger for the monster behind the doors, but Hopper knows that it's the Demogorgon, and he knows why they feed it. It's just for the nutrients for the Demogorgon. And also, I think there's one scene that really, I want to talk about the scene about Hopper where he kind of mentions how young he was and how he drafted and he fought, and how that's,
Actually, they mention his backstory. They mention his daughter, his real
yeah,
daughter.
yeah,
And
and like
then
how like the what you call it when he
he
fought,
basically
like
mentions that 11 kind of saved him. 11 and Joyce kind of
yeah,
saved him
yeah,
after
but
everything.
also like when he was fighting, like how he was next to like a lot of gas and like a lot of chemicals that is he thinks he's the reason why his daughter died, and like it's a touching up moment, and he was saying stuff like I'm the curse.
Yep.
So that was a good scene. At the same time, Murray and Joyce turn the story on Yuri, and they're trying to take his plane, and they crash it, and they're trying to go get Hopper, and they have a plan to do so by Murray acting like a Russian.
Yeah.
Murray's trying to be Yuri,
Yeah.
and Yuri's a prisoner along with Joyce. Okay, we got that. Cool.
I think that's pretty much it. I think you got everything that happened in this episode. But the episode definitely ends with the Hawkins group with the animals clawing at his body and then him being saved.
Mm-hmm.
Steve is pretty hurt and he gets saved by the crew.
Yes, he quotes. He said, "What does he say?" He says, "I've lost a pound of flesh, but that's okay." But yes, and now we have chapter 7, guys. I'm so excited to talk about this. There's so much that we have to break down on this episode. Those two are recaps, but this is like the ending. This is what we got to figure out what's happening, what's going on to the next one, and
this is like the 2-hour episode.
Yes, and you're watching this, so you know what happened. You know exactly what happened. You know what I'm talking about. We are talking about a masterpiece of an episode. Why is it a masterpiece, Tom? Ask me. Go ahead. Ask me why.
Why is it a masterpiece, Mr. S?
Okay. For many different reasons, but one of the main reasons is how the story with 11 is told. From beginning to end of this episode, it's a beautiful masterpiece.
Let's keep the reveal for the very end.
Okay.
Let's do the order of events. The order of
Okay,
events.
we're gonna act like you guys don't know. You guys know. All right. So we have 11 in the Rainbow Room trying to get her powers back a little bit, right? She's putting that little chip. What is that game called?
I don't know, but it's really not possible. It would only be possible if she had her powers.
Correct. So essentially, she drops it at the top, and she tries to get it to land on the number 3. The guard that has been watching over her, who's been like her friend, essentially, has been telling her like, "Yo, like it'll come to you. You got to think of a moment that angers you." And he's also at the same time saying, "Papa is really not who you think he is. He's lied to you, and he's a liar and stuff like that." And he also tells them that there was, they all have been here. There used to be a guy, a test patient number 1, but his story was a horrible ending. But he'll tell that one later. I think that's what he said, right? And then they go into a little game by Papa, right? The game with all the. I keep calling them test patients, but they're not test patients. Are they? The kids. I want to call them kids. Yeah. They go into the game with all the kids. And essentially the game was with the 2 circles, 2 at a time. You got to push each other out of the circle. So number 2 is like dominating throughout. You see like a montage, everybody losing and sitting down. And then it's 11 versus 2, and 11 beats him. Essentially 11 beats him. Then 2 gets mad and he bullies her with like 3 other, kids, and 11 gets scared, blah, blah. Papa kind of finds out and then tortures, tortures number 2 with the little shocking collar thing. And then that kind of upsets Elle, but also at the same time, the guard tells Elle like, "Yo, because of that, they're about to kill you." I want to pause right there for a second. So up until now, be honest with me, Tom. Be honest with me. Up until this point, are you thinking to yourself, "Oh, that flashback I saw in the beginning. Oh, that's why that happened." Honestly.
Yes. So at this point in time, I'm thinking, okay, because it was hard to believe that Elle killed everybody with no motive. So I'm thinking, okay, if she did kill everybody, it was because of, they attacked her or something.
Right.
Um, I did think that at that current time. My girlfriend did have a theory on the guard. I did not have that theory just yet.
Okay. Do you want to continue, or should I just?
I feel like we should go into the other things that happen in this episode because there's a lot that happens in the Upside Down before we get there. I feel like the
I just don't
big
want to lose my train
reveal.
of thought.
All right, I mean, if we want to go there, we can go there. So the so yes, so he tells Elle, hey, they're planning on attacking you. Basically saying that it's not a coincidence that the cameras were off when they jumped you. This is all planned. So I can't really describe it into detail. Go ahead and refresh my memory here. So I know that
Right.
she goes to like this dark. Where is it that she goes and she meets up with him?
So they're playing chess. From what I remember, they're playing chess in the Rainbow Room. And no, wait, hold up. Let me think about it a little bit myself. He said it's not coincidence that they're doing it. Blah blah. No. Weren't they playing chess and he gave her like a key card? He gave her a key card himself under the table, and then she took it. And then at some point in this episode, she finds out that they're torturing the guard.
Yes.
Yeah.
She does see him get tortured, which
Yes.
he later does kind of. He later explains what happens there, but
Yeah.
she uses the key card to escape during a certain time, and she meets up with him in this like in this place, and this is during the time that we saw in the original sequence where Papa was training one of the other kids. He asked one of the kids, "Oh, do you want to go into some training?"
Right.
And he says yes. During this time, Elle is actually in the room. What is she doing? She's sitting by the side or something.
Yeah.
We didn't see her in the original sequence in the beginning, but she's there. Right. She uses the key card. She meets up with the guard, who then basically explains that the reason he got tortured was because he tried to help her or something.
Right.
And he has this chip on his head. He can't. He basically tells her, "Escape you, because I can't, because I have this chip on my neck that he uses to control me." And she says, "What if I help you?" So she pulls the little chip out of his neck.
Right.
And this is when.
This is the beginning of the end.
Yes.
So
does an alarm go off, or why do they end up heading back?
Here's why we start heading back, because as soon as she takes off that chip off his neck, the guards come in, or the other guards come in and start chasing them out. So he takes Elle's hand and navigates her that way.
So he does he knock out the guards? Yeah, he knocks out the guards and puts her in a room and tells her not to move.
Right, but this is after they're in the, this is after the chip I'm talking about. After that chip gets out of him, the guards come in. They run a little bit. They're cornered on both sides by guards. Then you see his powers. The guard actually uses he grabs out his hand. I mean, he launches out his hands and his powers at them, and he snaps their neck. And then he takes Elle into a room and says, "Just wait here." And then, but before he does that, he says to her, "You and I are not." He goes, "You and I are alike." Yeah. And then that's when he reveals that he is actually number one. Yeah.
Which was my girlfriend's theory. I didn't get that till a little bit later. As this episode was going on, I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah. He's definitely number one.
So that in itself is a plot twist, right?
Yes.
He's number one, and then Elle takes out her hand, and they see that she's 11. Cool. Boom. So she waits there, and then as she's waiting there, you hear all this ruckus and all this mayhem going on, and then she walks out. And you see the images that we've seen in the first 8 minutes of the season. We've seen is
not only the first 8 minutes, but she's been kind of hallucinating this or having these flashbacks of all
Right.
these dead bodies. And she had mentioned to Papa, "I killed them all, didn't I?" Like
Right.
she was
Right.
convinced that it was
She's
her too, but she
correct.
didn't remember.
Correct.
But at this time,
Correct.
now she's actually seeing these flashbacks and seeing that she just found all these bodies. So she's following the path of dead bodies, blood everywhere, broken. Literally, these people look like they've been beaten up and broken in all different types of ways. She sees the room with Papa, where we saw from the first 8 minutes. She goes into the room, the rainbow room, and she sees the guard there torching one of the other kids.
Yeah, and it's such a masterpiece because we saw the first 8 minutes of the season, how it pans out, how Papa comes out and takes number 6, and asks, he's holding the ball, and he says yes, and they do a test,
Yeah,
and the same thing we see it through Elle's point of view, the same
yeah,
exact
earlier.
thing.
Yeah,
So that's something that's really, really cool, and it just once you understand what's happening like that, it makes it easier for you to understand that what's happening right now with everybody dying. Does that make sense? So you
yeah.
know that's actually not Elle, and it was number 1 the whole time. Um. Okay, so then Elle walks into the Raven room and she sees that one killed everybody. Should we pause there or should we just continue the story?
At this point, man, we made it this far. Might as
Fuck
well.
it. Fuck it. So, number 1, by the way, we'll talk about it. Let me just explain. Okay, let me just finish the episode explaining what it is, and then we're going to explain our whole thoughts and everything. Okay, so number 1 is talking about all this world. It's, horrible. What is it like to live and die? Like, we just wait seconds, days, months, years. It's the same cycle. We just wait just to die. It's like pathetic, all this stuff. Yada. He's explaining his motives, his theories, whatever. Through this storytelling, we see that he is actually Henry Creel, Victor Creel's son.
Yes, and this is how he actually ended up there in the first place.
Correct.
So, this is where you get that unique perspective because again, they do this kind of the same thing that they did with Al's story. They do it with Victor Creel. Victor Creel told his point of view on his house being possessed by a demon. Now we get to see it from number 1 or Henry Creel's point of view, where he basically had this belief. Victor said that the animals around his house were dying. It was Victor
without explanation.
Yeah,
right.
without explanation. Victor was Henry was capturing them and torturing them and killing them. And he also explains that the reason the mom died was because she knew it. He blamed it on a demon, whereas the mom was onto him.
Right.
And he was the one that killed his mom. He was the one that killed her that way. And actually, this is actually interesting because then it also is I don't know, I wouldn't call it a plot hole, but it's the whole thing with Max and her surviving, right, was because of the music. It's revealed that the reason Victor Creel survives isn't because of the music. He just runs out of energy and passes out.
So, what's funny? I have my questions here, and one of my questions was, did Victor survive because of the music or because Henry didn't know his limits? That's my question there.
At the time. So, when he wakes up, Henry's passed out. And Victor also mentioned that Henry didn't immediately die. He went into a coma for a week and then he dies, which is what they told him. But in actuality, Papa had taken him to the lab.
Right.
Now, so really what happened was he just he didn't know his limits. He ran out of energy. And he ends up getting captured by Papa and taken to this facility. And that's, again, that's huge reveal number 2, because now you know that, the way he was killing people is the same way Vecna's killing people. Mm-hmm. And you go to present time, and I'll let you take over from here. Number 1 and 11 are kind of having a little showdown.
Yeah, they're having a little bit of showdown because Elle refuses to join him because he asked, join me, and she said no. It looks like he's going to win. Like he actually has Elle up in the air, spins her around, blood coming out her ears and eyes. And then here's something I want to talk to you about. He says she remembers saying, think of something angry. That's what also number 12 said to her in season 3. Season 2. And that's what the guard said to her early on in the episode. Think of something angry.
Or him being the guard.
Right, him being the guard. But she thought of something angry. It didn't get her anywhere. But remember the game between two of them? What did Papa say before? And he said, don't what do you say?
Don't
Don't
get
get
angry.
angry or aggravated because it will mess with you. Like it won't work. So she didn't. She actually thought of something that made her happy when she was born and all that stuff, and then actually ended up helping her to defeat one. And she just like slams him through the two-sided mirror, through the wall, and apparently banishes him, sends him into the upside down. And then we see that as he's going into the upside down, as he's traveling and flipping over and all that stuff, he lightning is hitting him. His face is deforming, and he actually becomes Vecna. He is Vecna, and the episode ends with Vecna's arm. We see 001. Cool. That's 3 plot twists right there. Beautifully, beautifully told. Not only in 11's, goal to get her powers back, but also through the other crew with Steve, Nancy, Robin, and Eddie. I don't know if you want to go there. Long story short, or just get it from there. Because
no, I mean we can go there. Again, there's a lot to unpack. This is a 2-hour episode, guys. So
yeah,
bear with us a little bit. So we could go into a couple questions. This was the time. It was in 1983. Because they do mention now when they go back into Nancy, into the crew with Nancy and all of them, they're looking for weapons now. They want to find weapons, so they go into Nancy's house because she has a gun, and when she goes to check, she realizes that the time is not right. They're back in time. It looks like the upside down is stuck at a different time, which
1983.
is 1983. This is the year that 11 opened the portal to begin with. So it looks like for some reason that's when time stopped, or that's when everything when the upside down was created. So what do?
They get trapped in the upside down.
Correct. They're in the house, but at the same time in the current Hawkins, Dustin, Max, and them were caught by the parents and are in the same house, and they realize that they can hear Dustin in the house. So they try to find a way to communicate with him. And Erica picks up on it when she sees the light and it's flashing. And he's able to read Morse code. And they say SOS. And he thought they wouldn't be dumb enough to dive inside the what he calls Watergate.
Right.
But it ends up being that they did, of course.
Right.
So then he communicates with them. Again, I'm trying to fast forward a little bit here. He communicates with them.
Through light.
And they basically come up with the theory that every time he killed somebody, every time Vecna killed somebody, he opened up a portal. So their way of escaping would be to head back to one of those portals. So they head back to Eddie's trailer, where Chrissy died, and they find this hole, which all of a sudden opens, and then there's this cool thing where it ends up being that Dustin opened the hole with a broomstick, and they're able to see, kind of like. Think of this particular image.
The actual upside down. This is the first time we see the name actually come into effect, like visually, upside down.
They do a little. He tosses a little, one of those makeshift ropes.
Yeah.
That where you like tie things together just to kind of make a rope, and it kind of floats there. And slowly they all start going up. First person to go up is Robin, it's Robin, then Eddie. Then it was supposed to be Nancy
Nancy,
but then she goes into a trance.
Right. This is where I think they did it great too. Unexpected and great.
Yeah, this was kind of all of a sudden because this is one of those people where we don't know why he was going after Nancy. It was more so I think he sensed that they were escaping and he got onto them. So Nancy's there, she's hallucinating while she's in the upside down, and Steve is there looking at this. And she's seeing Barbara back in the pool from like season 1. Is this season 1?
Right. Yeah.
When Barbara died, I guess that's her
guilt.
Her guilt, yeah, because they all had guilt. So her guilt is Barbara. That's the reveal there with her. And Vecna pretty much got her, and this is where you see Steve kind of worrying, and he's there with her. Now let's pause there for a second. This is where everybody's theory. It's like pretty obvious to me. Looks like Steve is gonna die. I'll go ahead and say it. You were right.
Well,
It
I don't
looks
know. I mean, yes.
at this point, I'm like 99% confident
Uh,
that what's gonna happen is because here's the thing, right? You didn't like the idea of Nancy and Steve going together. I think a lot of people feel that same way, but the reason they did that is because they wanted to conclude that storyline for him to die. So they're gonna
right.
conclude that storyline with most likely him sacrificing himself for her.
Right. So here's the thing. Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. It's safe to say we finished the review portion, right?
Yes.
Thank you for bearing with us. It's long. It's a lot of content. Each episode's 1 hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, I try to kind of try to fast forward the ending.
Yeah,
But
it's
well,
you guys
we
have
also
seen it
didn't talk
yourself.
about what's going on with Hopper. Hopper. They fight the Demogorgon. They meet up with Joyce. It's very heartbreaking.
Yeah, lovely. Wow, yeah. But now this is the part of the episode I did really want to get into. So where we kind of break it down, share our thoughts and whatnot. Okay, here's my thing. Nancy's in a trance, right?
Yes.
Nancy does not die. Nancy survives. The reason being is because the trailer reveals too much. So I hate it when they do that. Like
But how much did you dissect this trailer? So here's the one thing: is
I
watched the
didn't.
trailer once. How do
I
you
watched the
remember
trailer
everything
twice.
that happens?
Bro, I watched the trailer twice, and every time I watch it,
So I would say that they did a bad job with the trailer then, because here's the thing:
yes, I agree. I agree
No,
that
no,
they did some. Yeah.
I'm going based on what you're saying. Majority of times when I watch a TV series, and I can give you, I don't know, what's the last big TV series that I saw? But the majority of times when there's a TV series and they, they're coming back for a season. Let me give you an example of like The Walking Dead or something, right? Usually when they show a trailer, the trailer is not for the entire season. The trailer is for the first episode or for the first two episodes.
That's how it should be, though.
Yeah, that's how it should be. They shouldn't be
Yes.
showing you stuff that's going to happen episodes 8, 9, 10. You know what I mean?
I agree. But the
But
problem was
based
that
on what you're saying, you're
Yeah.
saying that there's also, I feel like you could be still wrong because they could just remove those scenes like they
of
do
course.
for movies all the time.
Of course, but also like we could also like think like she survives a trance, but something else happens. We don't know. We really don't know. But here's my thing though. The Nancy. So here are first. Can we do questions first? Let's do questions first.
Sure,
How about
that's
this?
fine.
Here's some
As long as you
questions.
remember to circle back.
Yeah, we'll circle back. Here's some questions first. The Upside Down is stuck on November 6, 1983, right? That's the day that Will went missing, right? Why is it that it froze then, but it didn't freeze when one was sent into the Upside Down by L? Does that make sense?
But isn't that the same thing? Isn't that the same time that it happened?
No, he got banished in 1979. So that's my question. So why?
Oh yes, he got banished before that.
So that's my question. Second question relating to that, and this is what I think we're going to see in Volume 2 a lot. We're going to see a lot of more of one being sent into the Upside Down and kind of making it what it is, I'm thinking. But when he was sent to the Upside Down, does that mean that Upside Down has been there for like thousands of years, like Dustin was saying? And like it looked like there was no Hawkins. So did he make Hawkins happen? You know what I'm saying? Like because he knows Hawkins like that. I don't know. Third question. Okay, actually, go ahead. If you haven't answered, let me know, please.
No. I mean, I have theories, but I don't have answers. Again, I didn't didn't write the show, man.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. If you have a response or something.
I don't know. I the first one, you're right. I didn't even think that's actually two different times, because there's the one that was opened by like the generator thing and whatever, and there's the original. So that one I'm not too sure of. The second one, just based on what Dustin is saying, it implies that these monsters themselves they're native to that dimension, so they're the natural habitants of the what we call Upside Down. It would also imply that the Hawkins part of the Upside Down wasn't there till, I guess, the portal was originally opened. But I don't know exactly what it looked like.
Maybe after 79. I don't know. But that's that.
This is one of those things where I don't know if you can ask that many questions, because I don't think you're gonna get answers to those.
Yeah.
I'm not sure you're gonna get answers to those. I don't know.
I mean, there's just some questions that I want explained or answered.
I also
feel
like if you go back to season 2, and I'm not exactly sure, what doesn't make sense, but I'm pretty sure there's something in season 2 with the whole 11 and her crew that doesn't add up to me. Something is a little. It feels like there's a bit of a plot hole there with what happened with 11 in this particular season. I have to go back and rewatch it. This is one of the downsides, but just something that didn't sit right with me with what happened in season 2. You know how 11 has that weird storyline where she meets up with the other kids that have powers and stuff.
Right. That's the episode I didn't like. That's my least favorite episode. But yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they don't want to talk about that episode because they want to describe it.
You know, another question I have is how the hell did Papa survive that Demogorgon in season 1? How's he alive? He only has a scratch on the left side of his face.
What? So why are you saying that? Because of all the struggle that Hopper went through?
Yeah, not only that, but like, I want an explanation, just like for Hopper. You know, how Hopper survived. I want to know how Papa survived because the next chapter is called Papa.
Yep.
So, I don't know. Speaking of left side, I want to talk about one or Vecna, whatever you want to call him now. You know how his claws on the left hand?
Yep.
With his stance with L, he's like with his left hand. So I'm guessing like his power is coming from the left hand, and also like, you know, left hands are the left side are usually like evil hands. So I thought that was a good connection.
That was good. Yeah.
Here's the thing about
he looks creepy as hell. That guy. The more you look at him, he looks.
Oh man, he
just looks menacing.
I think it's pretty great.
I can't
too.
see him in a series like in a. If he tried to play another role now,
he's not your Vecna. But also, what I thought was great, and this is why I knew immediately he was number 1 when he mentioned it to her, sitting next to her playing that game. When as soon as he said it, his 2 things, he said, something tragic or horrific happened to one, but we'll talk about that later. I was like, I wonder why. And then he placed the chip on the number 1 when he left. I was like, yeah, that's indication that he's number 1.
No, I think that's around the time that my girlfriend said, okay, yeah, I think he's number 1. I think I didn't jump the gun that early. I think I didn't believe it was number 1 till you get that scene where you see him getting tortured, and you don't know exactly what's going on. I was like, okay, yeah, I think you're right. He's number 1 now. Once I see him getting tortured, then I'm like, okay, yeah.
Man.
He also mentions to her that they're all what do they call them? They're all captured, or they're all what is it he says? We're all
test subjects.
Something like that. He mentions to her, we're all
prisoners
or something like that. Yeah.
That's the thing. You know, I think they did that pretty great. Like, I really do like the way they explain that story with him. I really, really do. And like, for those who got it, that there's 3 plot holes. For those who got him being number 1, kudos to you. For those who got him being Vecna, kudos to you. For those who got him to being Victor Creel's son, kudos to you. For all of you who got all 3 of those plot twists, I don't think you did, but kudos to you. That's a great thing, which leads
a lot of people thought Robert Englund was the real menacing or the real Vecna behind everything.
That would be cool.
Which I thought so too for a second, because I'm like, okay, he's in this, but then I was like, yeah, maybe he's not a big character, which makes more sense. But
a theory.
Yeah, I thought maybe he was lying to them or something.
Yeah. A theory that went around was that Billy was going to be Vecna, which is a cool theory, but that theory is crushed. Sorry, guys. Sorry,
I would have been disappointed if Billy was like.
One thing that I'm making a prediction on is the Mind Flayer was mentioned. So Dustin mentioned the Mind Flayer in a sort of way that he's still the brains of the operation of the Upside Down. He's the guy in charge, but he has put Vecna now.
That's like the 5-star general.
Yeah, which makes me wonder where the hell has he been this whole time?
To me, I don't think he's in the picture anymore. I think Vecna took over.
You know what it is? Vecna's vines that are attached to him in the house, those make him stronger. Like, in a sense, like there's a scene where they're riding the bikes and the bat sees the kids, and then Vecna turns around. Like he's attached to everything in the Upside Down. He knows who's moving, what's happening. I thought those were the Mind Flayer's vines at one point. No, so like that's a question that, you know, also. I think we're gonna get a lot more story of the Upside Down.
I think
next
that
episode.
One has to be explained since they name dropped Mind Flayer.
Yeah.
It would be kind of lame if they just don't explain what's going on there. I think they have to, especially since they name dropped it. Now they have like no choice but to explain what's going on there.
Yeah, they have the same powers, just a little different. You know, they can
Yeah.
get people to think things when not, but Vecna can snap everyone's neck and shit. So that's a little different. Um, I don't know, man. I think. Oh, did you see the teaser by the way for
I did
Volume
not
Two?
see this. No, I did not see the teaser.
There's a teaser for Volume Two that they released. I don't know if you want to watch that, but it kind of gives you clues on things. And one thing I think, another prediction I'm making, is that Hopper, Murray, and Joyce are not going to return with a plane. They're going to return with a gate. If you see the poster, the one that you have on your right, like, well, my right that I'm looking at you,
Yep.
if you see the full poster of them singled out like that alone, it shows them heading towards a gate. So either like the Demogorgon kill someone, or if I can open up a gate there somehow, I have no idea. But I think that's how they're gonna try to get back. I don't want to spoil any teasers for you if you haven't seen it, but there's a little bit of information about that there.
Oh, you could go ahead. I'll watch it right after this. So let's talk about it. Talk about it, because I'm not.
The teaser kind of shows essentially Nancy, Steve, I think, and Uma Thurman. You know,
Uma Thurman.
walking dressed. Yeah, I'm
Maya
sorry.
Hawke.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the
Uma
mom. I'm
Thurman
sorry.
is her
I'm
mom.
I'm sorry. My
Maya
bad.
Hawke.
Yeah, Robin. I'll just say Robin. But they're all like dressed in the upside down, battling something. Eddie's not there. Eddie's
How badass would it be if like Uma Thurman was like a villain, like a Demogorgon monster?
Yeah, that's probably asking for too much. But yeah, Eddie. I think Eddie might die actually, because he was saying to Steve how like he's been scared his whole life. He always ran, and he's probably gonna try to sacrifice himself somehow. So I think he might actually die too. But in the teaser, you see Hopper go into a room, and you see Demogorgons, like still Demogorgons, and you see black shadows trapped in like the what you call it, this like glass box, and at the same time, then you see another shot of him holding like a flamethrower. So something's gonna happen there. You also see a small 3 seconds, I want to say, of Robin being trapped by the vines and Dustin helping her out. So those are some things to look out for.
That means Dustin goes into the Upside Down.
I think they all go into the Upside Down. I think they all go into the Upside Down, battle Vecna first until Mike finds Elle, and Elle and them have to deal with the U.S. military first, and then they deal with going back to Hawkins and finding Vecna.
I don't know if there's going to be enough time for them to do all of that, unless...
Bro, it's 1 hour and
No,
20...
that's not what I mean. I mean, in terms of like 11 storyline, but we also don't know what's the pace of 11 storyline, because since everything's going on parallel, her storyline could be a little bit further behind, if that makes sense.
Chapter 8 is called Papa.
And so, when does this episode come out?
July 1st.
So we had to wait another month for this?
Yeah. I know, right? So damn good. Listen, guys, this season, I don't know about you, Tom, but this season has been great. The best season so far. So much story, but delivered like high stakes stories that are so intriguing.
I agree. Again,
intriguing and not boring at all.
I agree. My hot take here, guys, is I still think Netflix has the wrong motto when it comes to like releasing episodes. I still think they would make not only more money, but it would also have people talking about Stranger Things more if they released episodes on a weekly basis, and if they made more episodes instead of making these long ones. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
I mean, so here's the thing about what you just said. Netflix has just released a statement saying that over the weekend, 286 million hours have been streamed for this show, for Stranger Things Season 4, which broke a record and is number 1 in 83 countries. Netflix is holding on to Stranger. This is what's keeping Netflix alive right now.
Yeah. I'm not doubting that. But you think they wouldn't have had the same exact success if they did it on a weekly basis? The finale would have broken that alone. Because you think of it as here. There's a different experience when it comes to everybody watching something at the same time, and you have people talking about it much longer. Honestly, it's the reason that they did this divide between Volume 1 and Volume 2. Because had they released the entire season, guess what would have happened? People would have talked about it for 2 weeks and then moved on to the next thing. That's just the truth behind it. If you hold it for 2-3 months, releasing one episode at a time, you guarantee that every week people are talking about Stranger Things. I just
I
think
hear what
that
you're saying.
from a business perspective, I think it makes more sense. Again, but we're not here to talk about business. We're here to talk about horror.
No,
Um,
I no,
in
I hear
terms
what
of
you're
the
saying,
quality of the show, no
but
complaints.
so let me ask you a question then. Do you think it's fair to make fans wait 3 years and then make them wait weekly? I'm just
You already
questioning.
made me wait 3. You already made me wait 3 years. Yeah, why not?
Okay.
The way I see it,
No,
you already made me wait 3 years. Well, I'm not gonna complain if you're doing
Look,
weekly episodes.
I get what you're saying. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Also,
I think they follow a formula, man.
no, again, I, I'm not. It clearly it's working. I'm just saying that I think it would have been more successful the other way.
Interesting. Maybe they try with season 5. You never know.
Maybe. Again, I wouldn't really be surprised if they end up doing weekly episodes. I see it going that way. Everything tends to be more successful.
You heard it here first on the Well That's Horrific podcast. Season 5, Stranger Things season 5 is going to be weekly releases.
Well, listen, that's just what I'm saying. I think is going to happen. I think that's just a better way. I'm not saying that they're going to do that.
No,
for all I know, they're doing this model because they think it's the better artistic choice. If it's for artistic reasons, that makes more sense. From a business perspective, I think the other way makes more sense. Again, but we're not here to talk about business. We're here to talk about horror.
Right.
I will say that my biggest critique coming into the show was immediately debunked. I thought, damn, there's no way that these kids are gonna look their age, and they definitely pulled it off.
Yes.
Wait, hold up.
Okay.
There are some that look older. Specifically, this guy right here, Max. Right?
Yeah.
No, Max. Mike. Mike looks older. Mike looks significantly older. Dustin doesn't age.
Lucas a little bit looks older.
Yeah, Lucas could pass.
Will definitely does.
Yeah, Lucas could pass. Mike and Will definitely aged the most. You can tell that it's been more than just a summer. Max does a good job of also looking the same age. So Max and Dustin, you can't tell. They look the same.
Bro.
It's been 3 years and they look exactly the same.
So remember there was an episode that we had that you asked me, do you think we're going to enjoy Stranger Things because the kids grew? Remember that? I think
that was my fear, but they didn't grow. Yeah. I would answer that now with we don't have an answer to that because they didn't grow. They kept them as kids.
Right. Totally agree. No, I think they did well. I think it's good.
I think it would have been different if this actually took place 3 years later and they were like fucking juniors and seniors in college, in high school. Then I would feel a little strange.
I mean, when does puberty stop? When does puberty stop? At age 20, I heard? No? So like how much taller and older can they get?
Listen, I'm just saying they did a good job. They did a pretty good job.
It really seems that
I have a question for you now though, because you follow these things a little closer. Do they have a start date for when they're going to start filming?
No. And that's literally what I was just about to say. It seems like they really thought about their 3-year gap and I've never seen episodes so constructed in such a way in Stranger Things before. Seriously. Like their storytelling and whatnot. You're getting already great reviews. Great numbers. It's successful. No question about it. It's not even like a week or so. Well, when this release is going to be 2 weeks. Get on it. Get on it. Record this summer. I don't care what you do. Get on it on season 5. Get on it.
So we actually agree on something. One of the few times that you and I agree on something.
Get on it.
You have to take advantage of when these kids are looking the same, man. If you wait longer, they're gonna be adults.
I don't know what they're going for. There's no reason for you to do the Halloween ends jump because this is 1980 we're talking about. Get on it. I'm giving you the go. Get on it. I don't know what the finale is gonna be. 2 hours and a half. Get on it, yo. I want to ask you, what do you think this? What do you think this means? Chapter 9 is called the piggyback.
No idea. The piggyback.
Yeah.
What's your theory? I have no idea.
Piggyback. I'm thinking there's gonna be some copycat of some sorts.
Or why do you say that?
I don't know. What do you piggyback? What do you think it means? Like it means two people agree on something, or just like you're continuing something. So maybe the mind flayer is introduced. I have no idea. No idea at all. Also, another thing to note: the mind flayer is like a Black Widow, which Henry Creel liked. So
Oh yeah,
maybe that's why he worships him like
he
that.
had this obsession with spiders, which is why almost every time he kills somebody, they hallucinate spiders. By the way,
Right. Right. So
that's a nice little nod.
yeah. Honestly, guys, like it's the finale. Like I want to go straight into it. Like reviewing is fun. I like reviewing stuff. You know, if you guys, because I know being a fan myself, I would see people review stuff. Even though I did watch it, you know, it would be like, oh, they thought the same thing I thought, or oh, they saw it the same way I saw it, which is great. You know, it goes like over an hour, and I don't want anyone to be bored. So let us know if you guys want us to review it like that, or just jump straight into it. You know, it helps us out. You know, it helps you out, and we'll just take it from there. So, I don't really have anything else to add. Volume 2 is going to be July 1st.
Yeah,
Yeah.
July 1st. Yeah, that's pretty much it for all things Stranger Things till then. I will say, it's been a hell of a ride.
It really
we
has
got
been.
one more season after this.
Yeah, man. I don't want it to end. This
There
season
is
was
that
really good.
confirmation that season 6 will be the last season.
This
season 6, season 5, season 5.
This season 5 is gonna be the last season. This season has been absolutely beyond, like, exceeded expectations. We're gonna have a war of a finale, literally his army, their army, whatever you want to call it, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a birthday special. My birthday's July 2nd. If anyone really cares, you know, want to send me a little something, but whatever, you know.
Shout out to Mr. S.
Yeah.
He'll be able to watch the finale in time for his birthday.
Right.
You should schedule it so that it's perfect for that.
I know.
Thank you everybody for listening. If you made it to the end of the episode, follow us on Twitter at That's Horrific. Follow us on Instagram at Well That's Horrific. Also on TikTok at Well That's Horrific. Because if you don't,
Well, that's horrific. Peace.
peace.